All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the belated Wednesday show. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Hope you guys are doing good. Hold on, I got to adjust volumes and stuff. I've been just kind of all over the map lately. But thank you so much for being here. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. And you're almost at the weekend, so that's good. And thank you so much for being here with me. And I'm not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, the big toe himself of the Paranormal Portal, Mr. Don Longbeard. How you doing, Don?
Oh, hi. Yeah, no, I was doing some research. I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. It's hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day. Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope your guys' week is going well, and we've got a lot of things cooking for y'all. As always, we're going to be doing the news. We'll be doing the Discord question of the week. We'll be doing in some moments, quirks in the Matrix, glitches in the Matrix. More of those stories that we've been covering for several shows now, as well as the Cryptid Corner to wrap it all up. Yeah, we got a lot going on. Now you'll notice there's no ghost radar on screen. Did you notice that, Don?
I get scared when you do that stuff.
You do not.
Okay.
I don't think you're being quite honest with me. But I will tell you what.
I am glad that you do it when I'm not here, though.
Well, here's the thing. I thought I would just put this up because I think it's important if we're doing polls. I do polls every once in a while to get your guys' feedback. And I asked the poll, I said, another poll, sorry, but I value your opinion highly as I shape the future format of the YouTube live shows. 78% of you are in favor of continuing live spirit investigation on the shows, so this will continue in some form, although more in a limited length. But is there any part of the shows that you would like to see less of? If there's something else you'd like to see more or less of, please let me know in the comments. So there was 10% said less news of respondents of 130 votes, but less questions of the week, 13%. Less Cryptid Corner, we got 2%, so I don't think we'll be doing much with that. We won't cut much of that. And then there was less Ghost Radar on the screen with 14%. And so I thought, well, you know what? If we're not doing actual, on the show investigating, why is it there? And it's usually, it kind of works out to be sometimes more of a distraction because it'd be like, we'd be reading something and there's dots on the screen. You know what I mean?
Parcel tongue?
Yeah, it goes parcel tongue on us. And then there was 61% of you said, don't change a thing.
I can't believe that 13% of people said less question of the week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
And to each their own. Again, I love the question of the week, and I actually surveyed our Discord audience and said, look, do you think this is a placeholder? Do you enjoy this? Would you like to see it continue? And the people that responded, I didn't have anybody go, let's get rid of this. Everybody that responded, and it certainly wasn't our entire Discord community, but everybody that responded said, no, I like this. This is great. Gives us a chance to weigh in on this stuff. And so that's great. And that's the spirit of it. So,
yeah.
I think we all like the Ghost Radar. Just Info Arsonist said, I think we all like the Ghost Radar. Well, we'll take a little bit less of it today. Just see after in the comments after the show is done, weigh in. Let me know. Do you want to see the Ghost Radar all the time or not? Unfortunately, I can't do a live poll now, but if you've missed seeing it on the screen, we can certainly put it back. It's literally just me opening an app and starting a stream and clicking a button in my production software. So it's not hard on my end to do either. But I appreciate that, Just Info. Thank you. I'd kind of like it too, but at the same point, it does sometimes get distracting when it goes off and it stops everything while we look and see what the hell's going on. And to be honest with you, I don't know how much stock I put in it anyway. There's certainly been some parts of it that have seemed to be kind of eerily accurate. Right. Some of the words that I was spitting out lately have been like, wow, that's actually very relevant. Like I was going to use the loo and it said zipper. Like, what? Yeah, one time the Ghost Radar said zipper when I said I was going to use the loo. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, thanks. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah. XYZ, buddy.
Yep. So there you go. Brent and Don. How you doing, Diane? Hi, IGL Austin. Good to see you. That's a new name for me. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. So I just want to let you know Don, you're actually a member again. Woo! Don re-upped his membership. Woo! Thank you, Don.
11 months, baby.
11 months. He's one of the first adopters to be a member of our YouTube audience. So,
there you go.
And a part of the show. I mean, talk about giving till it hurts. The man's not only providing entertainment, but he's providing membership.
I'm providing entertainment through my broken toe.
Well, I
got blood, sweat, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. You got like that cartoon throbbing toe.
Right.
Yep, that's why he's called the big toe, ladies and gentlemen. But he also helps me keep balance. So
Fourth, that's right. Fourth was one of our first ones. Maggie says he was the first. There's Sugar Britches. Nice.
Double wow.
Double wow. Woo-hoo.
Let's just keep that party rolling.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you, guys. That really helps a bunch. I know times are tough for a lot of us, and certainly is the limit to what we can do. And with everybody and their brother saying, hey, join this, become a member of this, buy this streaming service, buy that stream, everything's for sale now.
Right.
And so it makes it, competitive, I guess, to a degree, but I certainly don't ask much for this kind of thing. So I'm really thrilled for those of you that step up.
I've never been for sale, therefore I hold my value.
Yay,
Elaine! Yay!
Woo,
Batman.
and Batman. Woo. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you remembering.
And that's a clap for each of you.
Yep. You all remembered. Thank you.
Remembered.
Thank you.
Oh, God, that was so slick. I missed it.
Oh, my God. Usually I'm the one missing all those things. That's weird, Don. You're slacking.
Wow.
All right. So anyway, before we go any, Caleb, Ron the Sage.
Ron the Sage.
Y'all get a bunch of applause. It's going to be the longest intro in show history.
Well, you know what? Let's do it now. Yeah, this is actually
It's like the Portal telethon.
right. The Portal-a-thon.
Operators are standing by.
Well, all you got to do is hit that super sticker. We're good.
Yeah, and that goes for all of those of you who, do the super chats or super stickers and super thanks. That's been incredible as well. So thank you all so much. There's a vision that we have for the show that we want to continue to see, expand, and everything has constraints. Right. And unfortunately, I'm not a wealthy man. I'm not. I'm wearing the same underwear since I was in high school.
Oh my God!
Just kidding about that.
It fits around a thigh.
Yeah, it's actually just a waistband. I just got rid of the rest of it. So,
if you want to destroy my shorts,
yeah,
hold this string as I walk away.
Okay, but it does help a bunch. So thank you. Austin,
yeah, he can't see us.
Best chat room ever.
That's true. Yeah, switch your screens.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Switch your screens.
Yeah, sorry. I still had the poll up on the screen.
Yep.
But thank you guys so much. That does mean so much. And thank you to those of you who have donated through the PayPal link and helped out, even with the likes and the shares.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of ways to help out that isn't monetary at all. Yeah. So please don't feel that this is ever pressure. Like, yeah, see, everyone else is doing it. Why aren't you?
Rachel says those undies are vaporware now.
It's my ghost cosplay. They're invisible.
Oh no!
Vaporware.
It's like Mystery Men. Do you remember that movie?
No.
I'm invisible. No, you're not.
So there you go. It's the problem was the vapors. I think that's
just vapors.
It destroyed the threads. But anyway, let's get into this. I want to do this before we get too much further. And again, this is a plug, but it's for a conference that's coming up on the 17th, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
$2 for your underwear. Your underwear.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That'll be another 3-pack from Walmart. Woo! All right. I want to talk to you about the Spokane Valley Sasquatch Roundup that's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to be an incredible event. Don's going to be there. I'm going to be there. And Sheldon is actually making the journey out from Minnesota to be there as well.
That's
so
awesome.
We are really excited to meet some of you if you happen to be in the area. So that would be wonderful. But as you can see, Dr. Jeff Meldrum will be there, Cliff Barrickman, Ken Gerhard. All three of those gentlemen are really incredible people. We've met them at different conferences and stuff. We've had Dr. Meldrum on the show. Still haven't roped Ken into an interview. I don't know. He's a tough one to.
He's a tough nut to slow down.
He's all over the map, and Cliff is as well. But Michael Freeman will be there as well. He's a Bigfoot investigator in his own right, but he's son of Paul Freeman, who is famous in the Bigfoot circle for the Freeman footage and all of his research. And then Michael Thompson, an author out of Alaska about the Bigfoot subject, will be there, as well as Charles Howard Johnson. So we've got a full boat of activity Saturday, June 17th, 2023. VIP tickets and packages have to be bought in advance, but general admission can be bought at the door or in advance. And there's a VIP dinner to follow for those of you that have the VIP tickets. For more information, head over to www.exnorthwest.com. That's Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC's webpage. And they'll have more information on how you can pre-purchase if you're going to be there. But if you just decide at the last minute, hey, you know what, my schedule freed up, I'm going to head over there. This is happening in Spokane Valley at the Spokane Valley Event Center in Washington State. So again, June 17th, 9 a.m. through 5:30 with VIP dinner to follow from 6:30 to 8:30. So outstanding.
We get to see, we get to hang out with all of our friends.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few, and hopefully some of you. So if you're in the neighborhood, come say hello to us. We'll all be there. I'll be emceeing the event, so
That's right. He's big man on stage.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, big is right.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank you, Sugar. More for your underoo fund.
Your underoo fund. So what underoos would you get?
I'd definitely get Superman or Spider-Man, probably.
Superman
Maybe
or
Batman.
Spider-Man.
I don't know. I might get the whole trifecta. I'm not sure.
I think you'd go with Spider-Man because you want something clean.
I'd probably get the Flash.
Oh.
It's got Velcro sides. The Flash. Sorry.
Oh my God, you're on a roll tonight. Let's keep that up. Wow.
Get it, the Flash. Come on, that was,
Oh my goodness.
All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our long, drawn-out intro. I'm probably going to get some fluff back on YouTube. God, you didn't talk forever.
God.
Get to the good
I
stuff.
thought we said less news. Well, that is news. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Less news. I'm not going to go where I was going to go. But anyway, I'm going to leave that alone because this is still a family show. So.
We're this close.
We're a dysfunctional family, but we're a family. All right. So anyway, let's get to the news. Don, what are you ready?
Let's do the news.
Time for the news.
The news.
The new abridged version of the news.
Wow.
I used to do like up to 10 articles. And now I'm like doing 4 or 3. So let's get to it. Find out what's going on in the news-averse.
Newsiverse.
I had a bunch of them tonight, Don. I'm a little punchy.
You know why the toilet paper didn't cross the road?
No.
They got stuck in the crack.
That is so disturbingly funny. That is hilarious. I hope you guys heard that joke because, God, I hope he doesn't repeat it. All right, whoops, let's go here. Welcome to the news, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Don and I are anchoring this newscast from the Paranormal Portal news desk, and we got a lot of a few stories to read to you tonight, and some of these I think are pretty interesting. So. This first one is disturbing, but
Wow.
apparently he wasn't. But
I'm invisible. No, you're not.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly appropriate to our night we're having so far. From unexplained-mysteries.com, please support this site, ladies and gentlemen. Great site. They do a fantastic job. Here's a World of the Bizarre story from June 6th, 2023. And this is...
Figure you get bizarre news from the portal.
Yeah, well, what do you think?
What do you want?
What do you think this is? CNN?
I hope not.
No, you get bizarre news there too. Never mind. All right, strange man barges into family's home while claiming to be a ghost.
I'm invisible.
Boo!
No, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're not. Put some clothes on, you weirdo. The McCaslin family of Fort Myers, Florida, had a rather strange experience while eating dinner on Thursday night. Brian McCaslin and his 2 teenage daughters had been sitting at the dinner table enjoying a meal when there was an unexpected knock at the door. Well, easy knocked.
Hey, pull your tab over a little bit.
I'm sorry? What?
Pull the tab over. You got.
Oh, I'm a little cramped.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if that works better.
A lot better.
What happened next? He says, as I walked out of the area to where we were eating dinner, there was an individual in the living room or front door area proceeding to advance into my house, he said. He was in the house.
Wow.
What happened next was even more bizarre. The man claimed that he was in fact a ghost. He started to tell me that he was a ghost and I shouldn't be able to see him, said McCaslin. He was shocked that I could see him. He thought he was walking around and that nobody could see him. I could tell his behavior was not normal.
You think?
Really? Yes, that's definitely not qualified as normal behavior. The next thing we knew, the uninvited guest had left the house and approached a crew of workers who'd been cutting down a tree outside. Yeah, that'd be the bad place to try the whole I'm a ghost thing. Before anyone had a chance to react, the ghost had got into one of the trucks and locked the door. He said he doesn't have a home and he's going to make their truck his home, said McCaslin.
Wow.
It took a while, but the workers were eventually able to coax him out of the truck. Shortly afterward, he ran away, all while wearing nothing but a bathing suit.
Oh, now we find out what he was wearing.
Yeah. At least it wasn't the birthday suit.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Efforts by law enforcement to track down the man remain ongoing. Yeah, I'm sure there's a big dragnet out there looking for this idiot. Yeah. Let's waste a lot of resources looking for this whack job. Yeah, apparently he was not a ghost, and apparently the ghost union is all up in arms about him appropriating their identity.
Oh my god! Oh no!
He's not a ghost yet.
We can fix that though.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just scare him to death.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, there you go, folks. That's the first article up, and I can't think of a more appropriate way to start the news. What do you think, Don?
I think Android Paranormal. He says I'm listening to him on he's got on speed. Hearing him joke around and on 2 time is pretty hilarious. So he's racing to catch up with us.
Oh, fast forwarding us. Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
Well, there you go. The next one up for your enjoyment tonight here on the newscast is...
Yeah, Brenda Joe, that's a good point. He would probably be a ghost real quick, depending on what household he walks into. Yeah, don't try that in Idaho.
No, God, no. No, you take no trespassing signs real serious around here.
Yeah.
Here you go. The next one up. This is from the UFO phenomena section of unexplained-mysteries.com from June 6th. It says, whistleblower, U.S. recovered vehicles of non-human origin.
Huh.
Well, I think we all were pretty resigned to that fact already, but here it is. A former U.S. intelligence agent has lifted the lid on the alleged recovery of extraterrestrial vehicles by the U.S. government.
Huh.
These remarkable revelations come courtesy of David Charles Grush, a man whose accolades range from being a decorated war veteran to having worked with both National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office. He also held top-level clearance while working with the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force.
Wow.
Incredibly, Grush has handed files over to both the intelligence community, Inspector General, and Congress in an effort to expose government activities concerning the recovery of intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. These objects, he maintains, have been recovered by the U.S. government, its allies, and associated defense contractors for decades. Analysis of the vehicles has indicated that they are of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing, and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. Such revelations are certainly an eye-opener, especially from someone so deeply connected to the investigation of the UFO phenomena from within the U.S. intelligence community. He even made reference to the decades-long publicly known Cold War for recovered and exploited physical material, a competition with near-peer adversaries over the years to identify UAP crashes and landings, and retrieve the material for exploitation reverse engineering to garner asymmetric national defense advantages. Could this be the beginning of the end for UFO secrecy? Only time will tell. And there is an interview here, so I'm going to put a link in the chat if any of you want to check out his actual words on the subject. But I think it sounds fascinating. You know, there's some witnesses that come forward that obviously, I don't know, unless it's some kind of mind screw from like an MK Ultra thing.
Right.
But, you know, that's always a possibility, I guess. But, you know, he was actually in the community. So, and apparently was directly involved with the exchange of information on this stuff. So I guess he would be a good witness to have come forward, right? Right, Don?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I want to hear it.
Right. So the link is in the chat if any of you do want to check out his interview on YouTube with News Nation. I'm not sure how long the interview is, but fantastic. I mean, that's wonderful. And I think more of this needs to happen because I think this is definitely a time where transparency is more necessary than ever.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
Because the curtains have been up and have thickened over the years, and we're not that it's adversarial perhaps, but It just seems like there's a lot of knowledge that's not being shared that could probably benefit the entire human race in terms of, better transportation, in terms of energy usage, generation, in terms of so many things, and utilizing
sorry, it's
probably
a water bottle issue, right?
Yeah, you got to crack a water bottle, Don. You got to actually, you got to get real noisy about it too. That's what I'm doing. All right. So anyway, that's the next article up. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It is interesting. I would definitely going to be one of those that checks out this article later.
Leave it to a chatter named Grumpy Owl.
Yeah,
it's sus for now. I speak for myself. Well, I understand. Yeah, until I agree with you though, it is kind of suspect until we can get some more information.
So the Grumpy Owl is actually Anishinaabe as well.
Yes, that's correct.
You knew that?
Yes.
Were you here when he said that?
I was the one who said it.
Ah, that's right.
And that's a she.
It's a she. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry. She, he. Everybody's androgynous to me because you're all names.
It's just that easy to say.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So anyway, let's go to the next article here, and the last one for tonight on the News Fest of Fun here on the Paranormal Portal, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.
That's a good. Yeah, that's
.com.
Batman says, ever notice how hot and heavy Marco Rubio was going about UAPs until he got briefed, then not a peep after that?
Oh,
yeah. That? He just shut up.
Yeah, they all tend to go in there with real high hopes and big promises, and then they end up just shutting the hell up. Yeah. Let's get to the last one tonight on the News Fest. From unexplained-mysteries.com, the UFO phenomena files, astronaut Scott Kelly describes his UFO experience.
It's funny. I read something else about Scott, and so anyhow, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. I digress.
Why aren't you going to flesh that out at all?
Well,
what did you read?
So it has to do with the faking of the moon.
Oh,
stuff.
Okay. So it's that conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know. The retired NASA astronaut is certainly no stranger to outer space, having spent a staggering 8,100 consecutive hours there.
Yeah.
Astronaut and UFO stories go often hand in hand. Several famous faces, including Apollo astronauts Ed Mitchell and Buzz Aldrin, have reported sightings of strange objects during their careers. One particularly unique example comes courtesy of Scott Kelly, a retired NASA astronaut who appeared as a member of a panel during NASA public hearing on UFOs last week. Despite breaking the world record for the most amount of consecutive days spent in space back in 2016, his own encounter with the unexplained happened during a flight back to Earth, or back on Earth, rather. At the time, his radar intercept officer, RIO, radar intercept officer, had picked up what he thought was a UFO. I remember one time I was flying in the warning areas off of Virginia Beach military operating area, and my RIO guy, the guy who sits in the back of the Tomcat, was convinced we flew by a UFO, he said. So I didn't see it. We turned around and we went to go look at it, and it turns out it was Bart Simpson balloon. It was Bart Simpson.
It wasn't Batman this time. It was Bart Simpson.
Get out here, Bart.
Gosh.
I don't know what you're doing up there. That's it. Bart Simpson. Yeah, I think Mylar balloons are going to be a problem for a while as far as identification of strange anomalies in the sky.
Yeah, correct.
But
and normally an ROI is referred to as a Rio.
RIO?
Yeah, they do see my Rio.
Yeah, Rio. Okay. Yeah. So our ROI is return on investment, but RIO.
Right.
Yeah.
When we're talking about pilots and co-pilots and backseat drivers, like
they're Rios.
Rios are backseat drivers.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our News Fest for tonight. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you're leaving the news with a feeling of being informed and more connected to the knowledge, your finger on the pulse of the world.
Rachel says she's circling back to eat her shorts. Well, too late. Brent's already beat you.
You're welcome to a waistband if you want.
A little floss for your teeth there.
Jeez. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, what?
You know how to get a hold of an amoeba?
I don't, Don.
Cellular phone.
Yeah. There's a reason we don't have a comedy show now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you guys are hearing Don's jokes, but the toilet paper one was really funny. The last one was painful, actually. I can't unhear it. Damn it. No. It's fine. All right, so we've got a lot more to go here tonight on the Paranormal Portal Wednesday show. It is our Hump Day extravaganza.
Hump Day.
Every week, we come to celebrate the passing of the midweek, and this is it. So we're going to get to a segment that we all know and love. Well, most of us love, except for 13%. What was it?
Well, 10% didn't like the news.
Well, yeah, but screw those guys.
Yeah, screw 'em.
No, question of the week was 13. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, we're never going to you're never going to please everybody. It just doesn't matter.
Right.
There's always
right.
going to be some people that like one thing and other people that don't.
Guess whose day it isn't.
Since we're going to the question of the week, it's those 13%. But I will tell you what, it's hopefully a good question, and hopefully we'll all walk away with more knowledge of the weirdness that surrounds us. Let's get to the question of the week, folks.
Bloop. Rawr. Rawr, I say. Rawr. I say rawr.
How can you wreck that sound for me?
Rawr.
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 Okay, Don, settle down over there.
How's that waistband?
I'm sorry you're so fixated on it, honestly. I'm sorry I brought it up, okay? We love everything you do. Thank you, Just Info. I appreciate that a lot, because I'll tell you what, I don't like to pat myself on the back a bunch, because obviously...
That's why he has shoulder problems.
You're such a dick. You're going to lose microphone privileges tonight. I can feel it. But I do work hard to try to keep you guys entertained and to give you the best show I know how to give you. And a lot of it is just spitballing. I'm just like, well, maybe we could try this. Maybe we could do this. Maybe we could try that. And we've certainly tried a lot of things through the years. But
okay, Justin Info. You know where the door is, brother. We'd hate to see you go.
Yeah, this is we certainly like to have a fun time doing the shows. But let's get to the Discord question of the week, because it is time to dig into your guys' brains.
Yeah.
See what you think about things.
Brains.
We got quite a few responses this time. The last one,
there's a lot of them.
the last question I did for a show, we got three responses.
Oh,
like,
wow,
ooh.
really? Like for Saturday show?
Yeah, it was like
wow.
there was very few, and that's I know we're heading towards the season when people are much busier and they're out doing things, and
that's why you should take our podcast with you.
Yeah, well, it is portable. It is portable. Discord icon needs creepy red eyes.
Portable portal.
Thanks. It's a portable portal.
It's a portable portal.
All right. So,
question of the week, Wednesday show.
Yeah, let me just preface this a little bit. Here's our Discord, and the question of the week is where we ask our Discord community your thoughts on a specific question dealing with the paranormal. So tonight's question Don will be reading, and we're going to hear what you guys got to say, and some great responses as always. But take it away, Don.
Oh, well, sorry. So back to the question of the week. We may have many terms in the paranormal to describe spiritual presences. In the most basic form, we use spirits or ghosts. Do you believe they are two distinct spiritual presences that are quite a bit different from each other, or do you believe the terms are describing the same thing? Interesting.
Right.
What about taint? It's a haint. Never mind, it's a haint.
Taint. Jesus, Don. Oh.
It'll be a short one. Terrence says, I have no idea. I do know Misty Hands choked me because of a ball of mist. Then went through the wall. WTF.
Wow.
There was also a lot of other stuff. That was it for me, though. He moved, or they moved.
Good for you. I think as soon as that boundary is crossed, where it's they are physically touching you and hurting you.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, that's not okay. Yep.
Cryptic Chaos says, I think spirits are conscious of what they are and what they are doing to some extent. They act on their feelings and thoughts from when they died, while ghosts are residual energy. They don't really understand what they do and go on and on doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They can be seen, but their actions are empty and not really active to the surroundings. They're reactive to their surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So basically saying spirits are conscious, and yes, they are something different. And then saying ghosts are basically stone tape.
Yeah, like residual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly could be.
Yeah, absolutely. Chucky Danger says, I think the difference may come down to ghosts being former human beings versus spirit beings, non-human entities. Interesting thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the animal kingdom. Everything is classified as animals, but they all belong to different classes of creatures and families of those creatures. That's a good way to put that. Yeah,
I think that's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Chucky.
Absolutely. Brenda Joe says, I've always viewed them as describing the same thing. Well,
sure.
Absolutely cool.
Yep.
K-Love, I second what Chucky Danger says about the difference. Celtic Thorned Rose, I think for some the words are interchangeable, but they are different. There are spirits and there are ghosts, and then there are ghosts. A spirit, I feel, can be an entity including a past human, but a ghost is solely a past human. Interesting.
Sure.
I hope that makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So like you can say Jinn, angels, spiritual beings, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
And then ghosts are specifically earthbound people in their passed on form.
Right.
Yeah, that makes good sense too.
Sure.
See, you guys are on point. That's just amazing.
It really is. Yeah, I love these.
ZX81 version 2 apparitions. They follow the same path, doomed to repeat forever. Ghost, spirit, shadows, more free will over where they go. Limbo is a strange place.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is I think a really unique distinction as well, because there do seem to be some presences that are anchored to a place. They can't leave.
Right.
Like either they choose to stay or they can't leave. Sometimes it can even be a small area of a home.
Right.
That all the activity happens in. It's like something's tethered there or something. It's really strange.
Like a cold corner in your house.
Right. And then there's the other things that seemed transitory. They just kind of go, and they sometimes they're the one-off hauntings. Like you'll be in your home and you've never had any activity, and then suddenly things will go just haywire for a night, and then after that it's all quiet again. Yep. Like something just swung by just to dick with you for a night and then just carried on. Yeah. Very, very strange phenomena. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking dick with you for the night.
Oh, of course you were.
Maybe the term spirit... limbo is a strange phrase. Shepherdess says maybe the term spirit is used more generally, like an umbrella term, and ghost falls under that, typically to mean a former human being.
Good point.
So maybe a case of all ghosts are spirits, but not all spirits are ghosts. Which one of these things is not like the other?
That's true.
Celtic Thorn Rose replying to Shepherdess. I was going to say the same as you wrote at the end, but it seems to come out weird for me. You said it right.
Yeah, she did.
So there you go.
Yep, very well said.
Opal Demetria. I often interchange both of these words as if they were the same thing, but technically the definitions of each aren't exactly the same. A ghost or a soul is an individual. A spirit can be an emotion or some type of energy. Everything represents a certain attribute and frequency that we could use to help ourselves or others, or vice versa. Are there any spirits created from an individual that they become their own separate entity? I hear that can happen and may seem like a ghost. Stacy Backroading. Hi, Stacy. She's in the chat.
Oh, cool.
I guess I've always thought of a ghost as someone who is earthbound and stuck here. Maybe they're afraid to cross over for one reason or another, or maybe they don't even realize they're dead. As my sister and I came across a young girl once before, a spirit, on the other hand, I've always thought of as those who have crossed over, but who can come back and forth at will, like when our loved ones come to visit. Nice. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and plus, if you're talking about, spirit realm, naturally you gravitate the word spirit. So, yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, a ghost is earthbound, earthbound being, and then a spirit is a spiritual entity that can transverse both planes, shall we say. A hemiplane. Last light. So the first thing that came to mind when I hear spirit is of something that's intelligent or conscious and able to act on their thoughts. Now, when I hear the term ghost, I go straight to residual type haunt. Why? I guess I feel that the term ghost just carries a negative connotation with it, and I can't think of anything worse than spending eternity caught in a loop.
Wow. Yeah.
That would suck.
Yeah, it sure would.
And with that thought in mind, and this has been echoed, with that thought in mind, you would hope, I guess, that a ghost in this case would not be conscious, because then they would know that it sucked.
Right.
Because and having to suck for an eternity, wow, that would suck. Did I mention it might suck?
Yeah, apparently.
I agree, absolutely. Ghost carries caught in a loop. Rachel 101. Hi, Rachel. I think there's a difference between the two, but over time the meaning has blurred, yes. Ghost is a physical phenomenon. A spirit is unseen. For example, someone could say that person has spirit, meaning courage, determination, which are traits of a personality. A ghost is seen. You look like you've seen a ghost. There you go. If a ghost is seen, you look like you've seen a ghost.
Yeah.
Android Paranormal, he says this is probably his shortest answer ever.
He's still typing, though, if you look on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, so actually he's adding to it, yeah.
Yeah.
So he says different words for the same thing, tomato. Just like I also think ghouls and rakes are different names for the same thing.
I do too.
I agree with that part, yes. For the record, to clarify further, I do think there are different types of entities despite seeing ghosts and spirits as the same thing, particularly human versus non-human, or versus.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And that is the question of the day.
Yeah, it's very important, I think. Oftentimes we get stuck in the idea that every ghost, every spirit was a person. And certainly that's not the case. I think that, spirits can be a whole catalog of possibilities. Whereas I do agree that, I don't know, but I think I do agree that ghosts most commonly refers to a formerly living person who, for whatever reason, is stuck or cannot move on. I do appreciate Stacy's. I appreciate all your responses because I think they're brilliant. But I want to echo that. My understanding has always been that spirit is more liberated, or perhaps through transitioning to the next world and visiting and coming and going, whereas a ghost, I think, is an earthbound spirit, probably of human origin. But I think spirits can also be other things, whether what we've come to understand is like sylphs, dryads, things like that, nature spirits, any number of possibilities. Even shadow people would be a form of spiritual entity, even though it's more negative. So, that's my thoughts on it too. But I really appreciate your guys' feedback.
Hi, Jordan. Jordan says, so what does that make the Holy Ghost?
Yeah. Well, it's also called the Holy Spirit. So which is it? I don't know. That's the big question.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, I really appreciate your guys' feedback and your opinions on this stuff. Again, there's no wrong answers. We just don't know. But
Mrs. Donna Wilder. Hi. New name.
Oh,
nice
very
to
nice.
See ya.
Yeah.
Says spirits. I think they may have unfinished business here. I would assume reasons for them staying. Yeah, that could be true too. Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly think that there's that, or there's the possibility that some ghosts haven't transitioned because they're still. They may feel robbed if their life ended tragically or suddenly. Some may not know they're done.
Right.
Others may not like that they're done and feel that they've been robbed of something and are sticking around. It might be emotional attachments. They just can't move on because they're so anchored in this world. But
No.
that's very possible. And Android said earlier when I was talking about transitory spirits, he's like, yeah, that's what I believe happened in his house. He had a lot of activity for like a month and then nothing. Nothing before and nothing after. It's like something just stopped by just to mess with him for a while.
Right, yeah.
And then moved on.
Did it dick with you for a few nights?
Oh, you're just going to ride that out. Yeehaw. What do we got here? Android says, speaking of transient spirits, nothing has happened at my house since those 2 months of multiple encounters. Just spring so strange. Yeah, that is very strange. Miss Donna Wilder says, my husband died in 2020. He's come to me in my dreams and he wasn't moving or because he
wasn't moving.
And said he wasn't moving on because he wanted to stay here as my protector to make sure I'm okay. That's beautiful.
That's great.
I mean, I think that's wonderful. I love those kind of stories because, I mean, maybe if he did move on, it would still have that same connection. But for him, it's just like he wants to cross that bridge with you, and that's a beautiful gesture. That's love. That's some extraordinary love there. So that's a beautiful thought. But thank you for coming in and being a part of the show. So this has been the Discord question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to the rest of our journey tonight.
Wow. Roar. Roar.
Why do I even put sound effects on these things, Don? I'll just have you come in. All right. So, I think those are great. And I do love the question of the week section because I think it's a great opportunity for us all to weigh in and to these different things. If you are not currently a member of our Discord and you use Discord or you're willing to learn, then click the link. I'm going to put in the chat here. Discord for the portal, /HTTPS, discord.gg/paranormal portal. Boom. There you go. I'm going to pin that comment to the top of the chat. And therefore, any of you that want to become part of our Discord community, we'd love to have you over there. There's so much more going on over there than just the question of the week. There are chat threads about every phenomenon we could think of. Bigfoot, Dogman, UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, strange phenomena, etc., 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 with just dozens or hundreds of posts and links that people have put in there. So, Brent and Don, hi Eric, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, great. Why don't we do some shout outs, Don?
You want to do shout outs? We can do shout outs.
If you want a shout out, type something so that we can get you on our shout out list because we are cruising into the portal.
Yep,
and I just want a chance to acknowledge all of you guys that are here with us. So, what do we got, Don?
We're going to start with Mom.
Portal Mom's here.
Yep.
Hi, Portal Mom.
All right. Otherwise, we have 12 Pearls. How you doing, Pearls? Nice to see you back. Aggravated Progressive, Android Paranormal, Batman, Birdie Cuda 1978, Brenda Joe, Chucky Danger, Elaine Clifford, Eric, Grumpy Owl, Jordan Cogburn, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hey, Julia.
Nice to see you. We heard from Alice a little earlier today. Her daughter.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Julia, Justin, Just Info Arsonist, K Love, Kirsten Lee, Maggie M10, Matthew Learned, Mrs. Donna Wilder once again. Rachel Gets It Right, Ron the Stage, Smoking Guns Fab Shop, I Need a Lower, Sugar Britches, The Unknown, and The Fourth Color. Then we had B. Mora. Hi, Barbara. Backyarding with Stacy and Jody. Hi, Stacy. Chris is here. Chris.
Yep.
It's just Chris from now on. It's too much. Cool Hands here. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Isaac. Hi, Isaac. John LaBella. John Stevenson. And I think that's going to be it.
So if I missed anybody, just say hello in the chat, and we'll make sure to.
We'll see what we can do about.
We'll give you a follow up.
We'll give you a thumbs up.
You all get a thumbs up from us.
That's right.
Just by virtue of being here. So we're going to move on now to.
Don't forget the like button.
Yeah, don't forget that like button. It does go a long way to help the show. It's just an algorithm thing for YouTube that it shows that people are here and they're engaged. So if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button. That helps us a ton. Certainly, if you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you become a part of what we're doing. We do live shows every week, 3 times a week. So Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So that'll be common every week, except for here and there where there's other engagements, such as June 17th. There won't be a live stream then.
Or the Friday.
Or the Friday. Or the Friday.
So the 16th
so
and
16th, 17th. Actually, the Wednesday as well. What is that? That'll be the 15th?
No. It's the week after that you're...
Oh, yeah. That's right.
The week
And the week after that, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Gosh, he's the guy with the appointment. I'm the guy who's...
I know. I'm just going to be so... I'm all over the map.
I'm just, your personal assistant.
I just wish you'd work on the assistant part.
Well, at least you said that, not the I need a new set of underwear part.
No, I wouldn't have you buy me underwear. No.
Good, because I buy them really teeny tiny and see how that works. Here's a nutshell and a rubber band.
Oh, yes. Twisted bastard.
Here, stuff that low-hanging fruit in there.
Yeah, here's a marble bag. Good luck. Oh no! Yeah, let's move on.
Is that leather? Yes.
No, it's pleather. Don didn't get me the leather ones.
Oh no, I get you a bull bag.
Boy, there's so much I don't want.
Hi, Stacy.
Yeah, let's move along, please. Well, let's move along. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to an article we've been working our way through here for a while.
We're working a few things through.
Yeah, well, some things will never work through.
My
unfortunately.
therapist has scared me too.
God, yeah. Could you imagine trying to fix that?
Pay a lot for that. Wow.
I don't know if that's possible. But anyway, hi, Kirsten. Kirsten and K-Love are doing the emojis.
Oh.
I got to get some new emojis up there for you guys, too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to an article we've been working our way. It's from moneyawaits.com. Again, this is not a paranormal site, but they put together one of the Reddit scrape articles where they go out and farm comments on Reddit having to do with a certain subject, and oftentimes these are paranormal. And in this case, these are eerie glitch in the matrix moments. And we're going to check out number 25 because that's where we are. What are you on about, dude?
Matthew Lerner says, no, they can't have their money back. Do you know how much it costs for facial hair like they do on the portal? Yeah, I have a small addiction. I have a large collection of beard oils and stuff.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger, too. As a matter of fact...
I noticed it looks fatter. It looks like your beard is fatter now, like wider.
Did you just call me fat?
No, your beard. No.
So you're saying my face is fat?
No, I'm saying
yeah.
Well, maybe. I don't know if you got more real estate cooking under there or what. I'm not sure what's going on.
No,
but
I still have less chins than a Chinese phone book. I'm good.
Wow. Thank you for the demonetization, Don. All right.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, let's rewind, please.
Oops.
All right. Number 25 we're on is called Pub Pals.
Pub Pals. Nice.
Let's see what this is. A few years ago, I was at my lowest point in life.
Oh, wow.
Several people close to me had died unexpectedly, and my coworkers bullied me every day at my job. And that would suck.
Yeah.
Basically, my life was falling apart. I was past being depressed. I just couldn't imagine waking up another day, so I planned to end it all. Well, I think we read this one, but on another show in a different thread. But some of these get repeated, so my apologies. I bought a one-way plane ticket, got sleeping pills, and wrote a series of notes. On the day I was to fly out to fulfill my plan, there was a terrible accident on the freeway to the airport, and it was shut down in both directions.
Huh.
So I drove to a nearby pub to wait out the traffic, and the second I sat down on the patio with my drink, a gentleman asked if he could sit with me. Whatever, I thought, sure, who cares? We began to talk, and I felt my blood run cold. He told me that whatever I was doing next was a terrible idea, and I would regret it. I didn't know what to think, but who was this guy? Why was he talking to me like this? But I listened anyway. He said that he sensed I was in pain, but that I had an incredible life ahead of me, and that this was not the way my story was supposed to end. Again, I'd never met this guy in my life, and I hadn't mentioned a word to him about my plan. He asked me to hand him the keys and my wallet, and he'd give them back to me later after I talked and he listened. I poured my heart out to this random guy, told him all of my traumas and pains in life, and I told him my whole terrible plan. I told him why I'd gotten that one-way ticket to the cemetery across the country where I'd buried my family, and he just listened. And then he pulled out a lighter and asked me to pull out my letters and help me to burn them. He told me I was worth so much to the world and that after I finished my drink, I needed to head home and get some sleep. He told me I was going to be okay tomorrow, and for some reason, I believed him. He then gave me my keys and wallet back. I left that afternoon and went home, hugged my family, and got some sleep. The next day, I started working on myself. I found a therapist and a new job. Years passed, and I found myself in a fantastic place in life, so far from where I'd been that day. And to this day, no one in my life knows how close I came to just ending it all. But this random stranger just somehow understood me and saved my life, and I never saw him again. I don't even know his name. It's the most unexplained thing that has ever happened to me. And I think about that guy every day, whoever he is and wherever he may be. So thank you, kind stranger, for saving my life that random September day on a pub patio. And that was by Throwaway 2021 ABC. Yeah, this is a very similar story. It might be the same story, but again, I don't know if that's the original author of this tale or not, or if it's just something they found and rethreaded.
Right.
But if there's truth to that, that's definitely like a divine intervention. That's like a guardian angel or something, right?
Right, yeah.
That's a beautiful story. I hope it's true.
Yep.
You know, I really do. I hope it's true.
I'm sure glad Mom's not here.
Why?
Because she just basically grabbed my ear and dragged me to the corner.
Oh, did she?
Mm-hmm.
She'd message you or something?
Nope. Nope. But I know what she meant.
Oh. Yeah, mom don't pull no punches.
I've been in trouble enough with enough moms that I understand what that meant. I apologize, Mom.
Okay. All right, so here we go.
Unfortunately, I'd still do it again.
Yeah, it doesn't change much, does it? But at least you know how she
love
feels.
You, lady.
All right, number 26, the uncanny disappearance of my imaginary friend. There was this kid in my kindergarten class that I distinctly remember playing with. We were pretty much inseparable. And then, about a month after the Christmas break one year, he just disappeared. That's not even the creepy part. On the part that I can't explain, I mean, he could have just moved or something, right? But then how does that explain what happened after? We got back from Christmas break. No one remembered him. Not the teachers or the other kids in my class. No one. I even asked the school counselor if he was okay, and she humored me by going through the records to see if he'd transferred. She couldn't find a thing. To this day, no one remembers him. And I think about it at least once a month. Yikes. So was it an imaginary friend, or was he spending time with someone that everyone else couldn't see? That was by Crippled Unironically. That's kind of a weird name. I hope that's not literal, but yeah, I don't know. Of course, there's so many stories of children interacting with presences that other people just can't see, even other children. I don't know that all children are just turned on, but some of them are, and they're just able to perceive this whole other reality.
Right.
And it's very powerful. So, again, it probably has something to do with their developing brain and just the way everything is functioning. Right. But I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. I try to think how many people have we talked to personally who've remember having conversations with people that weren't there through the years. We've been at this since 2016, right?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're 2017, but yeah. Right. Anyway, it's a long time. We've talked to a lot of people, read a lot of stories, but it's an incredible phenomenon. These children, some of these children really do seem to directly interact with somebody, and I mean like conversational, like you and I could talk.
Right.
They don't have to use ITC or EVPs or find a psychic that can
just tuned.
They're just tuned. They can just talk. And I just can't imagine how powerful that experience could be if you could get to the point where you could talk, like just to communicate as if you were sitting down at, like Don and I could communicate, to be able to cross that boundary and to close that gap and to understand that experience just could be so powerful. Would people believe you? Maybe not. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't, but I still would love to have that opportunity to sit and talk with someone who's already transitioned or, is at least passed on. Number 27, Ghost Driver. I was delivering newspapers on my paper route when a longtime customer pulled up next to me. This one we've read before. He asked me to give him his daily newspaper right there because he was going on a long trip. Well, I handed him his newspaper and then skipped his house as I continued my route.
Oh, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know you know the story. It seems like a pretty harmless encounter, and then things got weird. The next day, I was collecting the weekly fees. We used to have to go collect the money back then because there were no internet payments yet. Well, I went to his house to collect the fee, and his wife answered and promptly complained that I missed her house on the deliveries the day before. Even that seemed like a normal reaction. Her husband just hadn't told her that he had collected the paper. Well, I explained to her that her husband had pulled up next to me the day before and that I'd given him the paper, and then she started crying. The next thing I know, she told me that her husband had passed on a couple of weeks ago, and it was obviously not possible that I spoke with him the day before. Well, that made my face turn white as a sheet.
Ghostly.
Despite what she told me, I know what I saw that day, nearly 30 years later, and I still think about that situation. I have no way to logically explain what happened, and it still gives me the creeps. That's by Avion Chef.
So, no, I meant, I've never heard that story before, actually. So I meant, once I knew the paper was going to be undelivered, that's what I was referring to.
Right.
Finding out that her husband had died like a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat he just wanted the obituaries. And that was before you mentioned you got to the husband died part.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe. I know I've covered that one at least. This is like the third time on the show. A lot of these are just repeats from article to article. They're just collected. And so I do apologize. I don't mean to give you reruns here, but it's just the way it rolls.
Right. Yeah.
Number 28, Visions of the Future. I had this neighbor who was around 30 years old. He was such a sweet guy, and let's just say his name was Adam. I felt like he was the kind of like the older brother I've always wished for, but never actually had. He was a really talented guy, gym freak, good at singing and playing every possible instrument, dance, sports, cooking, etc. He used to take me and my younger brother to the beach whenever possible. So this incident took place 3 days before my 14th birthday. I was on my way to school in the morning when the scene flashed in front of my eyes. It was like I had a premonition or something. In this scene, I saw Adam lose his life in a terrible accident. It felt so real that I almost wanted to cry. I just passed it off as a crazy daydream because I'd watched a movie in which the same thing had happened to a character the previous night. I continued with my day normally, and it was normal until almost 8 at night, and that's when I heard the news that would change my life. My parents got a call from someone that night, and I could see their faces change expression almost immediately. Once the call ended, they said they needed to go somewhere and would be back in a while. I wasn't sure what was happening yet, but I felt that something wasn't right. The next morning, I woke up to the worst news of my life. Adam had been in a major accident the previous night and hadn't made it. I didn't know how to react because a few hours before the accident had happened, I had the bad feeling that I couldn't explain. For days, I couldn't even sleep, and I blamed myself because I felt like maybe I could have warned him about it, and maybe he would still be alive. It's been almost 7 years since that incident took place, but every time I think about it, my heart aches, and I still wish he was alive. I still can't explain that premonition that I had, or why I had that sort of sinking feeling hours before it actually happened. That was my Party Goal 9359.
Wow. Yeah,
that's terrible. That's definitely sad. And we'll do, what time have we got? 8:10. We got a little bit of time, but we're going to get to some cryptid stuff and some other stuff. It's not just cryptids in the Cryptid Corner tonight. There's a little bit of other stuff, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Even Don doesn't know what's coming.
What?
Just some cool stories.
Cool.
All right, number 29, Gone Before His Time. I remember my mom telling me that my cousin died from an overdose. And the next year, nearly to the day, she calls to say my cousin, the same one, died. I replied, yeah, from an overdose, right? She was shocked that I already knew.
Wow.
Well, I thought she was somehow messing with me until she showed me the date of his passing. I still really can't explain that one. A lot of people have theorized that he could have overdosed before and survived, making it that I incorrectly assumed that he had passed the first time. But the weird thing is that I barely knew anything about this cousin. My mom's extended side of the family is very big, with 22 first cousins, more than 40 second cousins, etc.
Wow.
So there's a lot of cousins that I've never met personally, including this one. And I specifically only remember being told about his existence in the context of his substance abuse and how it contributed to his passing, since my other relatives speculated that it was intentional and not accidental. Basically, I never really knew much about him while he was alive, and I didn't even really know his name. So while it's very plausible that I could have heard about him overdosing beforehand, the way I remember it is very different. Memory is a fickle thing, though, so who knows? And it says, I hate Howie Mandel. Oh, that's a brutal name. All right, so there you go. Some more glitches in the Matrix. Maybe we'll do one more. Phantom Pain. You want to try that one, Don?
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Number 30, Phantom Pain. My mom and I were on the highway driving home, and there was a semi-truck in the lane next to us, and suddenly the semi swerved into our lane. Luckily, my mom was able to get out of the way before it hit us, but soon after, I began feeling strange. The entire right side of my face felt hot and sticky. I tasted blood. I smelled the very pungent scent of gasoline. Then my head and right arm started to ache really badly, and I couldn't feel my legs, and just as soon as the pain started to worsen, it went away. It was replaced by a cold, eerie chill. I told my mom about this, and she couldn't come up with an explanation, and I think I was feeling the pain from another timeline where my mom wasn't able to avoid that semi. That was by Protector K. Draco. That is creepy, huh?
Yep.
Yikes, Don. So is there a multiverse? Is it possible that in convergence points like that, we may experience some of our alter egos experience? You know, just being so close to that point where it converges and then diverges. Is there a shared experience in there? That's a powerful thing to ponder.
Well, you know, if you believe in, you know, the Akashic records and things like that, you know, everything's already happened and everything happens at the same time and everything already happened.
Sure.
You know, that means that, you know, we are all together at some point in like a what is it called? A universal consciousness, that we're all part of a universal consciousness.
Sure.
And so, like, you know, we every now and then we check in with the universal consciousness, you know, by dying and rejoining and then being reborn. But during that time, we share our stories with the others that are there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just passing on that knowledge that and then you come back and you learn more.
Hopefully.
Well, hopefully you learned, yeah, because you're coming back to learn the same frickin' lesson the next time, dummy.
Yeah, if you don't get it right once, you might come back and do it again.
I think I've done a couple times. Oh, there's actually no doubt about that.
So there's the whole idea. There's like a track that you go around.
Right.
You might have a trench.
I'm like those ancient wheel.
Like in the beginning, Conan the Barbarian.
In a Roman road.
Yeah. It's Conan the Barbarian. It's like all those people pushing that huge wheel, and then at the end, it's just him. Right. He's the only one that survived, and there's like a trench where he's been pushing for years. Yeah. Hope not. Anyway, yeah, I think it's plausible that we may have a few runs at this. Well, at least I hope so, because I know there's some things that I'd sure like a do-over on.
No doubt.
Okay, so I think we're going to get to some Cryptid Corner stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
Sweet.
And for this, we're going to go to...
The British Bulldogs.
The what?
Never mind.
British Bulldogs?
Yeah.
No.
No?
There's no stories about those.
Damn.
All right, we're going to go to Phantoms and Monsters.
Oh.
We got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's... Actually, I want to start at a different one.
Oh, that was a good one.
This isn't the one I wanted to start on. I don't even know why this one's open, actually. This is the one. All right. I wanted to go to this because this is a collection of experiences of black-eyed kids from phantomsandmonsters.com. Of course, this is Lon Strickler's site, ladies and gentlemen. And Don loves the black-eyed kids a bunch.
Yeah. BKs are just my... That's why you wanted to start with that one.
It is, actually, because we haven't done this for a long time, and I saw that Lon posted this on the 5th of June, and I was like, oh, God, that'll be great, because...
So he waited till I got here.
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the same thing I'd do if we were covering killer clowns or something,
Yeah,
too.
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yep. So, 12 pearls as you enter subliminally tethers you, and the only thing you can do is sit and hit the like button.
Repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, hit it once, because if you hit it twice,
It goes
you'll
away.
undo it.
So anytime you do odd numbers on the like button,
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah, just 1, 3, yeah. But
Prime numbers are good, too.
Even numbers, not so much. But anyway, here we go.
Chucky Danger says, "Is it child abuse if you fight a black-eyed kid? How do you think they got black-eyed?" Come on, that was too easy.
That was some low hanging fruit there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they actually qualify as kids, but they look like kids. Anyway. Black-Eyed Kids experiences from phantomsandmonsters.com. Again, Lon Strickler's site. It's a fantastic site full of lots of different experiences and encounter stories. So definitely check out phantomsandmonsters.com. It's also got links to Lon's books and his Phantoms and Monsters radio.
I agree with Jordan Cogburn. Jordan says, well, the joke is, what do you tell a black-eyed kid?
Yeah.
Says, a black-eyed kid has two black eyes. Duh, told him twice.
Done told him twice.
I told you twice. What more can I do?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get to some black-eyed kids experiencers come forward. This is an article Lon posted.
Come on.
And I really like black-eyed kids stories, not because I love the phenomena so much. I think it's extraordinarily creepy and unnerving, but they don't come out a lot. We don't get a lot of these black-eyed kids stories.
No.
A lot of them have been around for years and years, and we've reworked them to death through the history of the show. So I'm hoping these are new ones, but let's see what's coming up here. And Lon says, here's several black-eyed kid encounters and sightings that I'd accumulated over time. If you ever had a similar incident or were told of an unexplained event, please feel free to contact me. Yeah, Lon, of course, takes submissions all the time. So
We do too.
yeah, we do, in the form of either call-ins or appearing on the podcast as a guest, whatever. It was November 2012 when I was working at a small gas station in Northeast Louisiana. We were the only small shop and 24-hour service station in miles. Just off the highway, I worked the night shift, and I loved it. The sharing of stories with the traveling customers, and that is when the rare customer showed up. It must have been around 3 a.m., and I was cleaning the floors and locking the beer coolers when suddenly the lights went out. Well, I pulled out my cell phone and used it as a guiding light until I made it back to the counter, where I kicked on the gas generator and it lit the parking lot, the bath, and then the hall leading to the register. And when I looked outside, I could just make out the movements of the trees across the street, but otherwise, it was pitch black. Well, I turned on the radio and started listening to the local station with its night owl DJ commenting on the heavy winds and cracking jokes between the songs. We have covered this one before, but we'll continue. Suddenly, I saw some figures in the dark, and I could just make them out. They seemed to be a group of kids on bikes. There were 3 of them.
So it's a gang of...
Yeah, it's a gaggle of black-eyed kids. I don't know what do you call a group of black-eyed kids? I don't know.
Tommy knockers?
Yeah.
Good one, Rachel.
There were 3 of them. 2 of them dropped their bikes and made their way to the door, where they just stood there staring at me. I just stared back for a moment, waiting for them to come in, but they never did. I moved around the counter and opened the door. "What's up, guys? Out kind of late, aren't you?" I asked them, expecting them to come in. And, "Can we use your phone?" one of them asked, their heads tilted kind of low. Well, I felt a little worried as I pulled my cell out from my pocket and offered it to her. "Sure." Well, she looked at me, and then I saw her eyes. They were solid black, almost like ink-filled orbs. "No, I need the real one," she said, her face twisted into an angry snarl. I pulled the door closed and flipped the locks. "No, ma'am. You go home and get your mom's phone." They stared at me through the door for a minute longer before turning away and biking off. The next day, I had my boss check the cameras to get the pictures of the creepy kids, but the cameras had been off the whole time. Now, the cameras weren't off the generator instead of the hall lights. I never saw the kids again. Thank God. That's something you don't want to see again.
No doubt, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the next story. One day in 2003, I was walking down a bike path in the back of my house with my stepdaughter when I saw 2 boys leaning against their bikes up ahead. I didn't really think much about it since it's a bike path until one of the kids raised his head up and looked at me straight in the eye. That's when fear struck me so hard. I was stopped dead in my tracks. His eyes were black and hollow, like he didn't even have a soul. It was like looking at pure evil. At least that's the way I described it when I recounted the incident later that evening to my husband and my other daughter. I immediately led my stepdaughter off the path, cut through someone's yard, and walked out to the street. I didn't know what I had encountered at that time, but I'm quite sure it was the black-eyed children. I don't know what they are, but I know they are dangerous. It was so weird. I thought that my stepdaughter would also be aware of what I perceived to be impending danger, but she was completely oblivious. Even when I led her off the path and onto the street, I somehow knew I had to get out of there now. Surprisingly, they appeared normal in every other aspect, except for the eyes, of course, and a vague awareness that they didn't quite fit into the environment. I only saw the eyes of one of them because the other kid had his back to me. He looked to be around 13 or 14, flannel shirt and jeans, and a swarthy complexion. What is swarthy done? Like pale?
No, swarthy, it's the build.
Oh, okay.
What,
it says a swarthy complexion.
Oh, swarthy complexion. I don't know what that
I imagine that's kind of ashen or something. But anyway, now that I've been reading about these encounters, it piques my curiosity but I wouldn't want to run into them again. Yeah, no doubt. That's creepy as hell. Here's another black-eyed kid's tale from phantomsandmonsters.com. A military man, JD, went outside to have a smoke. What was that?
Having a dark complexion or color.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
there you go. I was so far off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, back to the cigarette.
Military man JD went outside to have a smoke, and he lives in the hills surrounding Deadwood, South Dakota. He spotted 2 kids walking up a hill. They stopped and looked at JD, which spooked him. They were wearing hoodies and looked very strange. Their eyes were completely black. And they started to come across the street, walking directly towards JD, who introduced himself to them, and they continued to advance towards him. Frightened, he retreated into the house, and inside he asked his wife if she had heard him talking to the kids, and she never heard anything. Well, they soon went to bed. JD then noticed one of the boys outside of his window. Oh, that's creepy.
Nope.
He rushed to bolt the front door, and as one of them was there too. He never made it to the door. For whatever reason, he turned around and went back to the bedroom where he saw the boy standing outside his window. He went to grab his pistol. He wanted to scare them off, and he assumed they were wearing masks. One was at the window and the other was at the door, and he was extremely scared now. The next thing he remembered was waking up in bed. His wife informed him that he had been gone for an hour and a half.
Wow.
I did hear the door open and close. You weren't there, she told him. JD had left the house at 4 and didn't return home until 5:30 a.m.
Wow.
That's an interesting take. I've never heard one like that.
Wow.
Where he was actually kind of sucked out. So is that almost sounds more extraterrestrial, right?
You know, it does. Yeah. It sure does. Because he's missing time, but she's not.
Right. She's just like, where the hell did you go? That's creepy.
His wife informed him that he had been gone for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happened then? Would you do the regression hypnosis, Don?
I don't know if I'd want to. I don't want
Not
to know
sure.
if I've been probed by a black-eyed kid. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't want to know anything about a damn black-eyed kid.
So here's the next story. My younger brother was in his room carrying out a conversation, which was weird because we were alone at home. I went to see who he was talking to, and there was no one there. So I asked him who was he talking to, and he said the little girl with black eyes. I then asked where she was, and he said that she had left. Well, I thought he was lying. About a week later, we started hearing voices and footsteps. I'd be sleeping with my blankets covering me, and I'd wake up with them folded at the bottom of my bed. My sister got scared one night and crawled into bed with me, and as she was getting into my bed, I woke up, so I turned on my TV. I also turned on my light to find the remotes, and I left the light on along with the TV, and right when we were both drifting off to sleep, my door slammed shut.
Wow.
Which is almost impossible, as I've always had a basket full of books in front of the door so that it doesn't close. The light then shut off, and my TV picture went off with static noise. I got up and went to the door, and I tried to open it, but it was like someone was holding the door handle from the outside. My sister and I started to scream when my mom came and opened the door. And as she did, the light turned back on and the TV picture came back. We had a priest bless the house, but the activity continues. The house was built in 2003, and no one has died there. We need help. See, now that doesn't sound like a black-eyed kid story, although apparitions are sometimes described as having dark, hollow eyes, like no actual eyes, just black pits. But I don't think that's a black-eyed kid.
Right.
I don't think that that's one and the same. That's just a creepy presence. Not just. I mean, that's a creepy presence.
Maggie M10 says, I'm still of two minds about aggressive hypnotherapy. So, yeah, well, you know, that's why you need to have it. That way you're not of two minds anymore.
Yeah, you'll be of one mind full of memories that you may not want.
You may not want. Fair enough.
And Lon left a note, the family has since moved from the house.
Damn right.
I think you should, if you had a blessing, and I mean, you could certainly have an exorcism done of the house as well. But with some powerful cleansing and stuff, I'm sure it'd be fine. What?
Batman says burn some sage and use it to light the house on fire. That may work.
It'll be a good kindling. Yep. All right. This one is Marie in Minneapolis. Made 2 separate phone calls, first to Coast, and then to Darkness Radio, looking for answers regarding something that happened to her the night after Halloween in 2014 while doing her paper route. The event clearly disturbed her, and she couldn't explain it, nor could any of the hosts or guests on the various radio shows. This happened the night after Halloween. I delivered newspapers that night, and I was delivering newspapers that night, and it was business as usual. I rounded this curve, and I saw a group of kids in the middle of the road. There were about 6 of them, and they were all wearing gray robes with hoods.
Gray robes.
I guess it's maybe still Halloween-y. But they didn't have the hoods on, and they were down their backs. And I thought that was kind of strange because Halloween had ended about 10 hours before that. Well, one of them saw me and started walking very quickly towards my car, saying something. And she got very close to my car, and I could see that she was about 15 years old. And my first thought was, why was she out there? That's pretty young to be out there at that time of night. It was about 4:30 in the morning. I didn't have time to talk to her, so I drove around her. But then there were the other 5 kids in the middle of the road, and then they saw me, and they fanned out to surround my car, so I couldn't move, and that scared me. I drove up on the lawn to get around them, but they were coming pretty quickly at my car, and I almost hit one of them. And then I thought, I'm going to call the police because this is quite odd. Then I thought, I better follow them so I can tell the police what they're doing. Well, I saw them turn down the street, and I turned to follow them. And it took about 10 seconds to get to the street, and they were gone. They had disappeared, and there's no way they could have gone to even the first house. Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but that's a bad start.
I am not investigating that.
Yeah, I don't think you follow them. You just keep going. Yeah. Would you follow them, Don?
So I agree with somebody here. Let me. Somebody in here said, something about just speeding up and going right through them. That's what I do. Yeah.
Would you really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what if it is just kids though? Then you're mowing down kids. So I mean,
well, then they suck. But you know.
Yeah. Well, you might.
You know, it's like that. It's like that thing that happened with the crazy clowns a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
Where they were
stalking people with knives.
People and knives and hammers and cars, running at cars.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. If you come at me with a hammer, and you're
it's
running at me, it's game over. Because guess what? That's called self-defense. You're bringing a potentially dangerous weapon to a vehicle fight.
Don't bring no hammer to a car fight.
That's right. We'd be tossing cars.
Yeah, that's right.
Gojira!
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'd be bye.
I think some of those guys did get shot or something. That kind of ended the fad pretty quickly.
Yeah, actually, I think that did happen, that there was one or two that were shot and it stopped, yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it just wasn't a good idea anymore. Which it never was a good idea, just for the reference.
Especially with Don. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, yeah.
There's
anywhere.
only one thing I hate worse than clowns.
And that is?
Mimes.
Mimes? Really?
Freaking hate mimes. They're just French clowns that don't talk. God, I hate them.
I was sitting there. I like clowns. Clowns crack me up, and there's some pretty talented people doing clown stuff. But I was at a parade one time, and I used to have an old Victorian house, and it was right on the parade route. So I'd literally just go.
Is this the haunted one?
Yeah, it is actually. Well, I mean, many houses I've lived in have been haunted.
Well, I mean, the shower house.
No, this wasn't the shower house.
Oh, it wasn't the shower house.
This was the creaking furniture and lots of the apparition, where I saw the apparition, the full body apparition. But the parade would go right by, and this one parade, I'm sitting out there on the parade route with my uncle and Sheldon when he was little and stuff, and this clown comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you want a free 2-piece chicken dinner?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great." He said, "Put out your hand." I put out my hand. He put in 2 kernels of corn.
Oh no!
Oh, that was so funny. I just died laughing. I thought, God, that's brilliant. It's a 2-piece chicken dinner for the chicken, not for you. Come on, that's clever, right?
That's actually good.
I thought it was really good.
That's a good one.
I thought that was hilarious because it wasn't the ending I was expecting, but it was just funnier than hell. 2-piece chicken dinner, you hand somebody 2 dried kernels of corn. Come on. Nothing? Crickets out there? What's going on? Anyway, it was funny to me. Still remains funny.
Wrong one. Nope, not that one either.
That was good. Not the wah wah wah. No. That's the green one. Yeah.
Well, that's the news.
Yeah, that was the news thing I was trying to come up with because the cricket sound kind of sucked.
Oh, so you got rid of the crickets?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. No wonder I couldn't find them.
Well, that's true. See, now Eric says that's hilarious. Thank you, Eric. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was hilarious. Sugar Britches laughed. Okay, corny joke. Ah! There you go. No, that's worth a rim shot. Rachel's got a quick wit.
she's pretty quick.
Sharp as hell. All right, so we're going to go to another story from Phantoms and Monsters, folks. And this is cryptid related. Some real cryptozoology going on here. I don't know. I've never heard of this before, but this is from phantomsandmonsters.com again. And it's from May 31st, 2023. Wereboy observed in Rock County, Wisconsin. And there's a video apparently, but I don't know if we can.
Oh, no.
It has an ad in it, but no, it's blocking it. In a video titled Part 2, We Call Him Wereboy, Wisconsin investigator Donna Fink told of her 2012 sighting of a strange werewolf-looking boy in a strange white van. Well, that's That's an interesting take. Was he driving, or I don't know where this is going. I just want to show you where we first saw the wereboy, shapeshifter / skinwalker. I don't know what he was, but we were here in Rock County, Wisconsin, between Milton and Whitewater, and driving along here on a Sunday afternoon, a bright sunny day, 3:00 in the afternoon. The weekend before, we had gone into the woods, our Bigfoot research area, and while we were in the woods, we heard a loud buzzing rhythmic sound like a transformer type sound, really loud. Kept hearing it. Couldn't figure out what it was, and then we heard a branch crack, a really big one. But then, as we were coming out of the woods, there was a mud hole. As we had entered, there were no tracks in the mud hole when we entered. But when we exited, there were 2 wolf prints, and I have pictures of that. And it was so strange because we saw no wolf anywhere, which isn't uncommon. Wolves are incredibly shy and elusive.
It's because it wasn't a wolf.
Right. Well, that's the other take.
Well, it was a D-hole.
And it's only 1 square block of woods by a farm that was really strange. Then the next weekend, we're coming out up to our Bigfoot research area again. And as we're driving on the left shoulder of the road, we see what looks like a wereboy. He looked normal at first until he looked up at us. And the reason why he looked odd was that he had huge teeth, matted hair like he'd been living under a rock or under a bridge or something. When we saw him, we both screamed at the same time. Note, Donna is driving around in her vehicle showing the locations and made a U-turn so that we could go back and get video and pictures of him because he was so weird looking that he could not be completely human. His teeth were very big and flat, twice the size of human teeth. The shocking thing about his teeth, though, was that they were yellow, green, and brown streaked. Well, that's creepy. His eyes were a little bit darkened around the rims, and he had a normal nose and a little bit of a brow ridge. His hair was shocking, though, and that's the first thing that we noticed when we were driving along, because his hair was very long if it was wet and combed. But the way we saw it, it was all matted into a ball at his shoulders. Ew. That's not good. It was matted all over his head, and the kid looked like he had crawled up from under a bed of leaves that he'd been under the last 2 years. It was shocking. He had his head down when we first saw him walking along the shoulder right here, and we were heading the other direction, and he had on clean clothes, though, which was really strange. He had on a plaid shirt, a navy blue hoodie, which was partially zipped up, and blue jeans, which were all completely normal, but then on his feet, he had like flip-on tennis shoes, like the canvas flip ones you used to wear when you were a kid, whatever but they were all perfectly clean. His hair was not. His teeth were awful, worse than a dog that you'd let go for years. Shocking, big, flat teeth, perfectly straight. You could see the upper row and the lower row of teeth. They were together. Row. He was in a grimace. No, nothing sharp or canines or whatever. But the weirdest thing was that he had somewhat of a muzzle. Not a big one, more like a chimpanzee muzzle. Huh. But you know how chimpanzee mouth sticks out just a little bit. And then with the big teeth, or not so big teeth, but this guy had great big teeth, and he looked at us as though, I know you, and you know me, and you know what I am. And we both screamed, and we made a U-turn. We were going to go down the road and pass him by because I was almost afraid that he would turn into a wolf. I know it's crazy, but that's what went through my head. That he would turn into a wolf and jump into the back of the pickup truck and then do something bad to us. So I didn't want to stop and pull over where he was because I didn't want to be that close to him. He frightened us. So what were we going to do was to go down by the cemetery, turn around, aim our car out, and if he walked by, which was what he was going to have to do, we got the video cameras out, we got the cell phones out, we were ready to take a video of him and pictures. We were in a prime position to get pictures and a video of him, and somehow we were thwarted again because who would pick him up? Nobody in their right mind would pick up that kid, although somebody did, which I find really strange. He was still walking along the shoulder of the road on the right, bright sunny day. You could see everything, and we're thinking, we're so smart, we're going to get the video this time. We're not going to let this go. So we're thinking he's going to come walk along here, and we're going to pull in here by the cemetery on the right. But see these two trees right there? The big ones, and there's another big one. So we pull in there, and when you make a U-turn in this driveway here, I guess this is all kind of from the video.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
We just turn around in this driveway, so we're aimed in the right direction for him to come walking by and to get the perfect video and perfect pictures. Well, that wasn't to be. Why did we think we could do that? I'm telling you, you get a camera out and these things just disappear. We were going to pull up and get more videos and pictures. And as he went walking by here, he was going to come down here. And that's when he got to this point. And we were going to pull up there and get pictures. I mean, this is kind of silly, but we'll just keep reading. While we were still in the locked vehicle, so he couldn't get at us. So we're sitting here and we see a white van coming up in this direction, going that way, the opposite direction. And he was walking, and my girlfriend said, they're going to pick him up. And I said, they're not going to pick him up. Who would pick him up? Then take a look at him. Nobody's going to give that kid a ride. And I thought we were just secure in what we were going to do and get in on this kid and to get on this kid. And that van, it was white, like a double-decker panel van. Completely brand new, no markings on it whatsoever. I don't know if there was one man in there or two. The one man was just in a regular shirt, no uniform or anything. And they made a U-turn and stopped by that tree over there. The big tree is right in the middle, as you can see in the video right now. And they made a U-turn, pulled up along next to that kid. And I don't know if the one guy got out, the driver did, and I couldn't see if there was another guy in the van because of those two trees right there. But they pulled over, and the door opened on the side of the van, and I don't know whether they'd put him in or he got in on his own. And they made another U-turn and went back this way. So what we did was pull out here right behind them, and we went 70 miles an hour down this highway all the way into Whitewater, and we could never find or catch that vehicle again. We looked down every side street. We looked down each driveway. We looked down in every direction we could, and we could have been right on that truck's tail, and that truck disappeared. That van disappeared completely with whatever that was, shapeshifter. And that's something just inexplicable to me. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of more of a glancing thing, but apparently they got a pretty good look at it. They were going to plot and do kind of an ambush, camera ambush, but then some weird white van pulled up and the kid got in. I don't know.
Wow.
Would you stop and let him in?
Nope. And that's just me being me. That has nothing to do with his looks.
Right.
I wouldn't pick somebody up nowadays at all.
No, I think you got to be extraordinarily careful.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the old days of sticking your thumb out and getting a ride are kind of past, aren't they, Don?
Yeah, well.
You better Uber.
They actually still do it. I mean, it still happens. I don't know how.
Here's a story that I think should be good.
Of a lovely lady?
No, it's kind of long, though. I don't know if we're going to have time. This is very long. I'm going to have to save this one for the next show, which should be Friday. But let me skip to the next one here. This one's kind of cool. How long is this one? This one's okay. We can read this one. This is a newer one from Lon. It's from June 2nd, 2023.
Oh, no.
What?
Batman says when he disappeared, he became Wereboy. W-H-E-R-E.
Well, you know, they said the teeth were really big, but it sounds like they're Bigfoot kind of teeth, not like what you would consider a dog man or a werewolf kind of mouth or wolf man. It doesn't have the large canines. And there are some Sasquatch that are said to have large canines, like the Gugwe and some variations of them, but for the most part, they're these big square chiclet-sized teeth.
Right.
So I don't know what was going on with the teeth on that guy. But could have been a victim of a cult and members came for him. Yeah, could be. I don't know. I mean, there's that side of it too. What if it was some weird experiment that escaped and they tracked him down? I mean, really, some genetics testing going on in some small Wisconsin town where nobody would think twice.
I don't think it would be a feral human because it described him, the kid as wearing clean clothes.
Yeah, very clean clothes. But, so it doesn't sound like feral in the traditional sense. Not like Mowgli.
Not the Jersey Devil.
No. Nope. He didn't even have a jersey on, I don't think. Thank you. Come on, that was kind of clever, Don. Jersey Devil. Come on. All right. Anyway, I thought it was cute. Whatever. I don't get paid for the humor. It's free. Free of charge, folks.
Which is why you don't get paid for it.
That's probably why, because nobody would pay me. Is that what you're saying, Don?
I didn't say
You just hit me where I live. Why don't you?
Well,
Here's another article. Odd non-human couple with stroller in park. I don't know what this is. I saw this headline. I was like, ooh, this one looks good. So the eyewitness remembers encountering a very odd couple on 2 different occasions and at 2 entirely different locations.
Wow.
He's very confused by the interaction and the circumstances. I don't think they were human. Excuse me. This was an experience that happened when I was a kid, probably 10 years old in 2010.
Wow.
Well, I'm 22 now, for reference. There used to be this park that my dad would take me to here in Maryland, and he would play basketball in the section where the courts were, and I would play in the section with the park equipment. One day I was on a swing set, and this couple came up and started talking to me. There was a man and a woman with a black stroller, and I didn't think I ever saw a baby in the stroller. And I remember it was always being faced away. It was always being faced away from me. And this may have been normal interaction, but something felt very off or dreamlike about the encounters. I was even able to pick up on it at that age. The man in the couple was wearing blue jeans and a red and white plaid checkered shirt, but he looked odd, kind of clammy, pale, or jaundiced/gray. And I also remember his eyes being very penetrating. The woman had on a dress and I think had medium-length brown hair. I can't remember her face, no matter how hard I try, though. She looked more normal from what I remember. The best way to describe the man's hair would be kind of blonde, ashen, and artificial looking in a sort of bowl-cut style, I think. I can't remember exactly what we talked about, but I think it revolved around God/religion. And it was a fairly short interaction, probably about 10 minutes. The weirder part is that I saw them later at a completely different park on a different date. Could have been weeks or even months. And they were in the exact same outfits with the exact same stroller. It looked like only 5 minutes had passed, but it was a completely different location at a different time. I can remember feeling apprehensive and off when I saw them again. And strangely, I can't remember if I talked to them or not the second time. The last key to the story is that when I told my dad about seeing this couple multiple times as a kid, he said that maybe they were angels. I remember that comment intensely freaking me out for some reason. Now, there could be a perfectly rational explanation for this, but more recently I've been doing more spiritual work and growth, as well as scientific, astrophysical, biological, quantum physics, theory, etc., research, and this memory resurfacing prompted me to share it. It's not the first time I recalled this happening, but it is the first time I feel like I could maybe get some explanation. I'd be happy to provide any more context about my life if it's helpful, or the encounters if I can remember. It wasn't the sort of thing where they did anything really suspect I could tell my dad or police about. The man just didn't look human. Like, the only way to describe it was he looked like a wilted flower. An uncanny, clammy, human wilted flower. That's the weird part. I do remember sort of shuffling off towards the courts after talking to them, but The second time, I can't remember if I approached them or not, which is strange. It's fuzzy. It sort of blips in and out. Both encounters felt sort of dreamlike. I also usually have a good brain for remembering faces, but I can't really remember the lady's face. A good portion of the guy's in detail. Could certainly be chalked up to the fact that this was a while ago, but I still recognize people around my hometown from when I was that age, so I don't know. I just felt scared or off, just like not quite right. Even now, it's the sort of thing where if I hadn't externally told my dad, he didn't also physically notice them, I would doubt that it actually happened. I just remember feeling that was weird. Gave me sort of a weird feeling, especially the second time that I saw them. And the source was Booger Cookie. That Booger Cookie spinning yarns. I don't know. I mean, is it possible that it was extraterrestrial? Maybe they were just incognito trying to learn, kind of like Indrid Cold. He's often, for those of you that don't know, he was a extraterrestrial that some person met and apparently lived here on Earth, but he had like a glued on smile, just like all teeth and grinning, in almost a Joker kind of way is what it's described as. But he was allegedly, or is allegedly, an extraterrestrial person that's visited Earth or living on Earth or something. But he was described as not normal, like just not fitting in, not a normal looking person. So I don't know. I often wonder though, Don, I just wonder how many times, if they are here, let's say that there's extraterrestrials living here.
Okay.
Is it possible that they're literally everywhere and they are the odd people that don't ever really fit in, you know?
I could see somebody thinking them as like an NPC.
Right.
They're just kind of odd, and it's just
stick to themselves, and they don't mingle. I mean, I could be accused of the same thing because I've lived in this town for almost a decade and really don't know but a handful of people.
Right.
I'm just very much a homebody, but I'm pleasant and engaging to people when I meet them. I don't mind meeting people and talking. It's just, I don't know, but
I agree, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you, I think everybody's met people like something wasn't right about that person. Now I've met a few through my years that I would swear were from somewhere else, and maybe just cross paths, for whatever reason, and I didn't think anything off about it, but there's just people you meet that are just so awkward in their human experience that.
Who are the people?
Right? Yeah. I mean, literally, who are they?
Yeah.
Do you know? And
who are they?
Yeah.
Who? Sorry, that's a good one.
Don't butcher that one. That one's a classic.
But yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, the Chinese have said, well, they've been living with us for decades now. And,
sure.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there were some locked up in a Russian gulag somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Or in Area 51.
Area 52, actually.
52, yeah. Googway. Dugway.
So, Dugway, yeah.
I said Googway.
Googway. Wrong type.
Yeah, sorry.
It's still along the lines, but wrong type. Because isn't that where Paul Schneider was talking about he was working, and he
was talking about Dulce.
Oh, that was Dulce.
Dulce.
Yep.
The base down in.
Yep.
Yep.
So, well, there you go. There's another spot.
Yeah, I guess they're potentially everywhere, and what is the bottom line? I don't know. Does it matter? Maybe not. I mean, it's actually be kind of cool. To be honest with you, it'd be kind of cool if somebody just said, "Hey, you know what?" I mean, would you believe them if they just said, "You know what? All right, I'm going to come clean. I'm from the Pleiades."
You mean like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a name.
Yeah, there's. So I don't know, but I suspect that there is truth to that. I really do. I think if they're here, they're visiting, we see their craft. Why the hell wouldn't they just be part of the communities?
Well, because we're not 7-Eleven.
Well, maybe we are though. Maybe this is the interstellar 7-Eleven. This is the where you stop and get the big Slurpee and the chips and
go poop in the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
poop on this place. I'm out of here.
Yeah, maybe. But I think here is wonderful, actually. I love Earth. I don't always love the world, but I
Right.
love the planet. So anyway, I don't know. It's just food for thought, folks. What do you think? Could there be people that we all encounter, maybe regularly? Maybe it's not unusual. I've often thought the same thing. Like when you meet people that just don't even acknowledge that you're there. It's like,
Right.
is that an apparition or is that actually a person? Is that a really good manifested spirit? Or is that just a really, really terrible person?
Right.
So, I mean, not terrible. Just some people don't engage. Or is it an alien?
Well, I call people plastic all the time, but it's like, credit card plastic because it's all fake, right?
Sure.
So, and that's kind of what it feels like. It's like a bug in an egger suit.
Yeah, right. Just give them the sugar water and they'll be fine.
Yep.
So anyway, folks, I don't know. It's up to you to decide what you believe, what you don't. But this has been an incredible journey through the paranormal portal, and I hope you had
it is over.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
That's it. We started a few minutes late, but that's just the way we roll on Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
Sometimes punctuality. Well, Don and I don't actually get a chance to get together very often, so when he comes over,
We got all kinds of stuff to talk
we're just yapping, and then look at the time. It's like, oh God, we got 3 minutes. We got to go live.
Yeah, because when I looked at the clock, it was like 6:59. Oh crap! It's 7:00.
Yeah. So apologize for the little late start, but anyway, guys,
You know us,
this is just how we roll.
fashionably late.
But yeah,
I roll like a fat man down a hole. I'm like, a hill. My God, I'm tired.
Okay.
I made it all the way through question of the week or question of the day,
Yeah.
and did good.
Question of the week, but
Now
yeah.
I can't talk for nothing.
That's okay. You didn't need to talk a whole lot. I did a lot of reading. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this journey. Don, anything you'd like to share before we're done?
Teespring to get your gear.
What is that coupon, Don?
That coupon is Our Friends, OUR. If it doesn't work, try all capitals, because I put it in all capitals, but I don't think it matters. I'm not sure. But that's 15% off all your gear.
15%, and you could be decked out looking like a pro.
Looking like me.
Wearing the best logo in the whole entire paranormal universe.
Oh, thank you, Maggie.
Woo, Maggie, coming in. All right. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. I'll be back on Friday night. Sheldon should be here with me. Hold on, I got a cough. My allergies have been killing me.
Yeah, no doubt. Well,
There's a lot of pollen in the air right now. My
cottonwood
God.
is flying.
Yeah, cottonwood is those. I mean, it looks like sometimes like snow out here.
Yeah. It
Except it's not cold.
It looks like cotton.
All right, folks, that's all I got time for. I'm going to end the show so I can cough and hack and be disgusting.
There you go.
So remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Watch, for those of you on Discord, watch for the next question of the week. I'll post it tomorrow.
And don't forget the podcast.
This one should be from Android. Android dropped it on the comments, and that's a good question. So we'll get into that one next time. So anyway, yep. Don't forget the podcast, as Don said. Always great episodes. Just did an interview today with a gentleman having to do with the Bermuda Triangle that should be airing on Sunday. Monday. It'll be live on Monday, but very, very interesting. And his account is very, very famous. He's a well-known figure in the Bermuda Triangle sphere, and he's one of the authorities on the subject. So
Wait, it's a Bermuda Triangle. How can it be a sphere?
in the sphere, meaning the scope,
Sphere
the
is
scope
round.
of the Bermuda
Oh,
Triangle.
the scope. Gotcha.
Yeah, like the circle of people that's
not a triangle. That's
no.
a sphere.
Yeah, done. Okay. All right, that's all. That's all I can do tonight. All right, I'm gonna go get some ibuprofen for my aching neck. Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good
We'll
night.
see you on Friday night if you join me then.
Bye-bye.
Whip up a brand new show fresh for you. So, see you Friday night. Good night,
night.
everybody.